Explainer: how do you define a recession? Let us depend the approaches Washington whether the United States, the world's largest economy, will slip right into a recession as a growing challenge for chief executives, the Federal Reserve, and the management of President Joe Biden. But defining what a recession is, and predicting when it's going to appear, is not truthful. What is a recession? A recession is regularly defined as 2 consecutive quarters wherein the economic system shrinks in preference to grows, however with lots of caveats. The COVID-19 pandemic recession handiest lasted months, for instance, the shortest cycle on report. Graphic. The COVID-19 recession and high-frequency financial signs. WHO determines recession. In the USA, the reputable name is made via a panel of economists convened by using the National Bureau of Economic Research, occasionally as tons as a year or more after the reality. The private nonprofit research group defines textual content equals a percent 3 a percent 20 the percent 20 NBERs percent 20 traditional percent 20 definition, Morep, C 20 then percent 20 a percent 20 few percent 20 months recession as a tremendous decline in monetary hobby that is unfold throughout the economic system and that lasts quite a number months. While every of 3 standards depth, diffusion, and length, desires to be met in my opinion to a few degree, excessive conditions revealed with the aid of one criterion may partly offset weaker indications from some other, the group says. What is the Som Rule? There are other approaches to calling a recession, which includes the employment-based Som Rule, named after former Fed economist Claudia Som, who created it to flag the onset of recession extra quick than official arbiters do. The rule states whilst the 3-month rolling common of the unemployment charge rises a 0.5 percentage point from its low, the economy has entered a recession. What is a shallow recession? Recessions are available many shapes. They can be deep however brief, just like the pandemic recession which lasted months however deleted 22 million jobs and sent the unemployment fee briefly to 14.7%. They may be deep and scarring, just like the Great Recession or the Depression, taking a decade or longer for the exertions marketplace to revive. Economists and analysts have currently flagged the possibility that the USA is headed right into a shallow recession, one wherein the economy contracts best marginally, and for a limited time. Graphic. U.S. job breakdown all through the COVID recession. What is a growth recession? Another concept being mentioned via a few economists and analysts is the belief of a boom recession, in which monetary boom slows underneath the U.S. long-term boom fashion of 1.5 to 2 percentage points according to year, however does no longer settlement, at the same time as unemployment will increase. This is the scenario mapped out by a few Fed policymakers in their forecasts this week. What's the link between inverted yield curve and recession? When the market charge for short-term borrowing exceeds that for a longer-term mortgage, it's far called an inverted yield curve, and visible as a harbinger of a recession. Historically, as a minimum a few a part of the yield curve has inverted before each current recession, and alarm bells started ringing whilst that passed off on June 13. Research from the Federal Reserve argues that the most broadly observed yield curve measure, the distance between yields on the 2-year and the 10-year Treasury notes, doesn't sincerely or expecting tons of whatever. A higher gauge is the space between 3-month and 18-month quotes, which has not inverted. What is the bear market link to recession? The current steep stock sell-off has additionally activated alarms. 9 of 12 endure markets, or drops of more than 20%, that have happened considering that 1948 had been accompanied by way of recessions, in step with funding studies corporation CFRA.